Neptune, currently retrograde, currently in Aries, re-entering Pisces at 5:48 a.m. Eastern time. So again, very time zone dependent. This may be happening for you on the 21st, and otherwise it is happening on the 22nd. I mentioned at the top, 4 more details on the Neptune ingress into Aries, the Neptune retrograde. You can check out the previous videos I have on those topics. For the high level, Neptune as a planet represents dreams, illusion, and intuition. So several different markers when you're just looking at it within your chart. And Pisces is one of the signs that it really, really enjoys being in. So Pisces represents creativity, also intuition, compassion, sensitivity, escapism, and naivete. So Neptune has been in this sign from February 3rd, 2012, so almost 13 years, through March 30th of this year. That's the date range we're talking about. So not only are we reflecting on that, but because of the fact that this is its last run, Neptune entering Pisces after taking a little vacation in Aries for the last 5 months almost. This is the final chapter. We will not live to see it re-enter this sign. So this is very important because we are closing the book to be put on the shelf to never be reopened. So we have the retrograde energy, which means we're reflecting. We have the fact that it's returning back to the sign that it spent a lot of time in, reflecting. We can reflect in that whole 13 years. And then we have that it's the final chapter. And so we're really reflecting. It's like, so what are the concluding paragraphs of this chapter? We're going to find that out. Stay tuned. We're going to find that out in this period of time. So what we can do is we can ask ourselves a lot of big questions on the individual level, but also on the collective level, because Neptune is one of the outer planets. So we always want to keep in mind what's going on with the collective. Again, for more on that, definitely watch the Neptune and Aries video that I have on what's the symbolism historically, looking back over hundreds of years of Neptune and Aries, because that's our next chapter. And we've been experiencing a little bit of that. Definitely. On the individual level, we could think about, okay, how has intuition or connecting with spiritual modalities such as astrology or anything else that you happen to be interested in, or how have we had tools of escapism pop up? That could be technology, that could be habits, or oh my God, so many things. So how have we in the 13 years at different points been drawn to escape, been drawn to deceive, or felt deceived by others? And how have these themes dominated global culture? Have we observed any sort of a shift in, as an example, more people talking about spirituality and astrology and intuition? More people talking about whether we have healthy boundaries, whether what we think is true, questioning reality. What is true? What is a lie? What types of discussions have we had in this space? These are all themes of Neptune in Pisces. And you can track that all the way back to February 3rd, 2012. So I'm going to put the degree points in the chat that we are paying attention to. So when Neptune re-enters Pisces, because it moves so slowly, it does not go very far. So this retrograde that started some months ago kicked off at 2 degrees, 11 minutes of Aries. Then it started backing up. So that's when it's stationed there. Started backing up on the 21st or 22nd, depending on your time zone. It's going to get into Pisces, and it's going to not get very far because it only goes back to 29 degrees to 22 minutes. And then it's going to move forward again and go to 2 and 11. So that's going to happen at the beginning of next year. So I'll just quickly, for everybody's reference, put those in the chat so you can see them. But that's why the whole minutes, there's a lot of apps that don't show the minutes. And in my calendar, I've added those in because most of the time in my classes, unless we're talking about an outer planet, I might only just say, oh, it's like 1 to 3 degrees. But because 1 to 3 degrees is so small, it's actually like subdivided. It's the fraction of a movement because it takes, 6 months for one of these planets to move what looks like 2 ticks. And in fact, it's less, on the natal chart, in the transit chart. So those are the degrees that we are looking at for this retrograde period. So this is just the checkpoint. This is a checkpoint of, hey, we're going to start re-entering Pisces. When it gets to 29, 22 is when it's going to stop. And then it's going to retrace that fraction of a degree and then get back into Aries early 2026. And that is one of the many astrological transits I was alluding to at the beginning of class of us like getting into the new chapter. Neptune is one of the collective planets that's been waffling back and forth and back and forth. And it's like, let's just rip off the Band-Aid and get into the new chapter. And that's what's going to be happening next year. He's saying there's hope. I sure hope there's hope. No, I am someone who operates on being optimistic. We have to have hope for humanity, for change, for ourselves as individuals and as people. I'm definitely not defeatist in mindset. And a lot of it honestly comes down to people working together or just like getting the information they need to be on the same page. People don't know what to believe and what is true and what is real. And that is this transit in a nutshell. So I think it's going to be better, ? To be out of this. We'll be in Aries, and there's a lot that weighs with that. But at least we might be a little clearer. That is the hope. More on that later. We're definitely going to be talking about Neptune in Pisces, but mostly Neptune re-entering Aries. This is the big kahuna. This is what we care about, is when it goes back in, when the retrograde ends. And you'll see this in my calendar as well. The thing that's crazy with these outer planets is they have, as I was talking about with Mercury, they have a pre-shadow, they have the retrograde, they have the post-shadow, but theirs is so long that hilariously, what happens is the post-shadow of one of these outer planets, like Neptune, ends after the next pre-shadow begins. They overlap with each other because that's how long they are. So that's why it's really hard for them to make forward progress, because they move such a small amount and then move back, and then such a small amount and move back. So you will see that. I honestly, when I was setting it up, I was like, am I doing this wrong? And I was like, I am not doing this wrong. It's just like I've never had to visualize it in that way. And I was like, this is crazy looking. So yeah, they intersect with each other right at that transition point. This is just a marker of, again, a transit is just, we're en route, but we're not at the destination yet.